Orly.
Thank you for joining us today. Little did we know that the Strolling of the Heifers Festival in Brattleboro would be an ongoing event that would last now for 18 years. Imagine that, 18 years of cattle walking the streets of Brattleboro. With us to talk all about it is to my immediate left, Ann Latches, Phyllis Trier, and the young lady known as Mother Heifer, Orly Muzing. Great to, oh my, 18 years of moo puns. Are you sick of them yet?
No, I'll never be sick of them. It's malicious.
And amazing that, as you and I were talking, a simple event has become big business. And in fact, this has been timed with the renaissance of agriculture in Vermont and across the nation.
Absolutely. I mean, could you believe 18 years ago when we sat in this studio that we would still be doing this and having the whole community involved with it? It's amazing.
Well, I remember as a senior at Brattleboro Union High School back in the 70s, I was in the FFA, had a farm background, and there were a lot of people who had their more than casual put-downs and had no idea where food comes from. Hopefully now they've learned.
That's right. And they also know to celebrate our local farmers, that's what this is all about. So we're very proud of that, and we're very proud of our local farmers for also keeping the wonderful fabric in this community. If it wasn't for these farms, we wouldn't have the community that we have today. I think the farmers are the ones that create that kind of neighborly, friendly, caring environment that Brattleboro has. And it really seeps to everyone. So we appreciate the farmers in so many different ways and so many different levels.
In fact, it was the news commentator Paul Harvey who wrote an essay called Thank a Farmer of the varied and different kinds of things that he or she did, and who still had time to go take part in a 4-hour school board meeting before getting 3 hours of sleep and getting up for the morning milking the next day.
Wow.
And that really does say a lot, because if you are a farmer, you need to be quite dedicated in it, because that's going to be your life.
That's right. And also what I wanted to really stress upon to the listeners, Tim, is that the Strolling of the Heifers is more than a parade. This is our celebration each year, and it's our fundraiser. Because of this parade and festival, we're able to put on incredible programs all year long. We are the shepherds, I call it the shepherds or stewards of the River Garden. We keep that open to the public with many, many events. We also have a farm-to-table apprenticeship program where we train people who are underemployed, and it's a new beginning for them, and creates jobs for them, good-paying jobs. And of course, our newest program for approximately 2 years is Wyndham Grows, where we're scaling up small businesses in farm and food. And we've been very fortunate and very successful in creating, in 2 years, about 30 new jobs in Wyndham County. So this is all because of these heifers walking down the street. And every few years, we move on to some other project, and then when the project becomes sustainable, we let it be on its own, separated from the stroll. And so we are very, very happy and grateful that the whole community and our many, many sponsors support us in our work.
Well, you've used the business model of a successful farmer. You milk, you hay, you grow vegetables for sale at the farmstead, you do maple sugaring in the wintertime, you cut logs in the wintertime, you do anything that can possibly bring money in, and that same model has been successful with Strolling with the Heifers.
It is amazing. For a nonprofit, we do have an incredible enterprise that keeps us afloat. All the people that you'll see today are basically volunteers. You know, you really have to have a passion to work for Strolling of the Heifers, because you end up wanting to give more. And that's what Strolling of the Heifers, our Slow Living Summit, our big message is to give back to the community rather than extracting from the community.
And the Slow Living Summit is looking at the future of farm and food entrepreneurship.
That's correct, and that's the serious side of Strolling of the Heifers, and it's May 31st and June 1st. And if you want more information about it, go to slowlivingsummit.org. And you'll see who the wonderful speakers are. You can learn a tremendous amount. We try to keep the cost of the conference very affordable, so it's a sliding scale. Basically, you pick the registration fee that fits your pocketbook. And if you are unable to contribute anything, you should just call us and let us know. And for a little volunteering time, you can certainly attend.
So the fun side of Strolling of the Heifers weekend kicks off on Friday, June the 1st.
That's correct.
And it starts off with a street festival. And Ann Latchis has been doing yeoman work with Strolling of the Heifers,
Absolutely.
including getting the street fest together. What's going to be happening this year?
Well, this year we have pretty much the same organization from Elliott Street to High Street. We have vendors lining the streets, from food vendors, face painters, programs for kids. We have a stage with live music, nonprofits, educational booths. It's a full range, a little bit something for everybody. And it pretty much starts around 5:15, 5:30 when people get out of work. It's a gallery walk night also, so people will be downtown. And we have everything on the street there, and we also have the River Garden open for what is a specialty food sampling and tasting, and also alcohol vendors and other Vermont beverages are inside. And we have the bake contest. So Phyllis will tell us about that in a second. But the Friday night Street Fest is pretty much 3-4 hours packed of lots of fun, lots of vendors to check out and talk to. A lot of interesting people are coming this year.
It sounds it. Now, will that portion of Main Street between High and Elliott be closed?
Yes, closed to traffic at this year around 4:15 to give time for the vendors to set up, and then it runs till about 9:30 and traffic resumes. But the vendors come in early and set up, and most of them return. I mean, it's great. They love it.
And basically, Brattleboro turns into an agricultural Mardi Gras. It is so much fun to see your neighbors and just be on the street and taste all the incredible foods and the music, and it's the beginning of summer, and to see where the heifers are going to be the next day. It makes you appreciate living in this community. What a wonderful community we live in. And many of you know that Commonwealth Yogurt is our lead sponsor, and I want to thank them publicly. And also I want to thank the retreat for opening up their grounds after the parade and festival. With the retreat grounds and the commons, we have about 11 acres of lots of various vendors and music. It's a real celebration for the community. So I hope everyone comes out and enjoys it.
So a big centerpiece of the Friday Night Street Fest is a food competition. Phyllis Trier, you've come up with a whole litany of great ideas over the years. What's it going to be in 2018?
Well, this year we're doing bundt cakes for the first time. We've had a lot of interest in the past with yeast breads and sweet breads. So this is a little variation on sweet breads, quick breads. Bundt cakes. Everybody loves bundt cakes. They've been making them for, 40, 50 years. And so with King Arthur Flour as one of our primary sponsors, we thought it would be fun to do something different this year. I hope that, everybody enjoys making them. So the idea is that you come up with an original recipe. It could be an old family recipe or something, as long as it's never been published. Has to be something a little unique. You could take your old family recipe and tweak it. Add some interesting spices, add interesting ingredients, fruits, nuts, whatever. And then you could glaze it or put fruit on top, whatever. The only requirement is that it's made in a 10 to 12 cup capacity bundt pan. standard. There's all different shapes. Nordic Ware makes a zillion different shapes of bundt pans. So
And they're
not
our sponsors.
Yeah, they're one of our sponsors, and they're also contributing to our gifts this year. All of our finalists are going to get a Nordic Ware bundt pan, which will be great. But I'm sure most people have some sort of a bundt pan. So the only real requirement is that you have at least a half a cup of some type of King Arthur flour in your bundt cake recipe. No King Arthur flour mixes. It has to be made from scratch, and it has to have a half a cup of King Arthur flour. And beyond that, we encourage people to use ingredients that are from our local community, local sponsors that are sponsors of this. We have great dairy sponsors, maple products. Just be creative, and it has to look nice. You have to take a picture of your cake and submit that with the application that's online on the StrollingOfTheHeifer.com website. You'll see a link there, a little whole story about the bundt cake competition. And then there's an application that you have to fill out. And tell us all about your cake. There's a little spot for a little story. Tell us how you came up with the recipe, whether it's your great-grandmother's recipe or whatever, however you came about. But we encourage people to use local ingredients whenever possible, and use some of our sponsors' products. But that's not a requirement. The only real requirement is that you use a half a cup, at least a half a cup of any King Arthur flour. And it can be a mixture. You can have, multiple different kinds of flours in there. But be creative, have fun with it.
And the deadline is May 18th.
We've pushed the deadline back to make it easier so everybody has more time. The deadline is next Friday, May 18th. You have to have your application in by that date. And then we will notify the finalists by the 23rd, by the following Wednesday. So if you're a finalist, and we'll send you all the requirements of what the finalists have to do. They will have to make one of their cakes and bring it to the River Garden on Thursday, May 31st. And the final judging will take place there. Then the next night, on Friday night, the night of the street fair and everything else, we will announce the winners. And hopefully the governor will be there and help us announce the winners. But the winners will be announced on the bandstand out on the street across from the River Garden Friday night. And we have great prizes. We have gift certificates and gift baskets from King Arthur Flour and Cabot Cheese and Grafton Village Cheese. And Nordic Ware is in there. Really nice gifts. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So we really hope that people will, fire up their ovens and work on their recipes and get your application, get your recipes in by Friday the 18th.
And you can come and taste it at the River Garden on Friday night.
We would hope if you've entered that you'll show up on Friday night. You don't have to be there to be a winner, but it'd be nice. We'd like all the winners to be there. They get their pictures taken with the governor or whoever, or with us, and get your gift baskets and your gifts. And so it's a lot of fun.
Now, what makes a good bundt cake?
Well, partially, you need to, besides having a good combination of ingredients and tasting good, it's important for people to thoroughly bake their cakes. People have a tendency to underbake things. Bake it really well, test it, make sure it's completely baked, and make sure you grease the pans really well, because it can be a little tricky getting a cake out of a bundt pan if it isn't thoroughly greased. So grease it.
I'm hungry.
The kind of pan spray that has flour in it is really a great thing. But we want cakes that taste good. Number one, they have to taste great, and they have to look nice. So it is important to really thoroughly, I would err on the side of being a little overbaked rather than underbaked if people are nervous about it. But practice, make a cake for your family and tweak it a little bit.
Bring it to the River Garden. We'd love to taste it.
You know, baking is a little bit of a science, especially with cakes. You need the proper balance of sugar ratios and things. So if you're not a real experienced baker, you might start with some basic recipe, a pound cake, and then tweak it from there. You know, add different spices and play around with it, you know. You might want to start with something basic if you're not super creative. But just try it. Go for it.
Well, you know, a good farm family has to have somebody who can produce mass quantities of food that will be eaten, so that's where the baking comes in.
Sure. Yeah.
And all
we
that
have lots of good bakers in this community.
And all that information can be found on www.strollingoftheheifers.com, Heif as in Frank, ERS.
So, you sound like you're off to a good start with all of this.
With Friday night.
For
yes.
Friday night. Lots of entertainment on Friday night as well?
Yep. Lots of it.
Yeah, that's great.
And there's lots of really interesting food on the street that night. I love going out there and eating.
And the alcohol vendors, this year we have 9 different Vermont alcohol producers, from cider to mead to wine, beer, and distilled spirits.
And the spirit industry is a real added value for agriculture in Vermont. And it's growing and growing, and it's winning all kinds of awards all over. So I think that, you know, for people to have the chance of doing a little tasting at the River Garden would really reveal that to them.
You know, the other thing, Friday evening, the public will have a chance to taste. We have 3 finalists, and then we have samples of the finalist cakes out, and the public can come and taste it, and they judge which one is their favorite. So in addition to the winner and the finalists, there's a People's Choice Award also. So
and
it's
also,
fun.
In the River Garden, there's specialty foods like Against the Grain, so many different kinds who will be giving out samples.
Great cheeses, really nice specialty
Grafton Village
cheeses.
cheese, Cabot cheese,
Farmstead cheese with
cheese,
Castleton crackers.
Castleton crackers. It keeps going on, and all kinds of honey and jams.
Yeah, Champlain
Side Hill
Valley
Farm will be
apiaries.
there with their
Right.
jams. I mean, we don't have the list right here, but I promise you, you won't go hungry.
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. Some sweets, some savories. Yeah.
I have
all
to
there.
admit that anytime I go to a specialty food event, especially if it's Vermont-made products, I spend the majority of my time grazing. And I hope that people do the same thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They'll also have product for selling there, not just sampling. So even with the alcohol vendors, you could buy a whole bottle or a whole drink. It's not just a sampling event, but certainly that's the main attraction.
What a nice idea. And just another example of what can grow when you plant a seed. In this case, the Strolling of the Heifers is the seed.
That's right. And that's our wonderful kickoff for the community. So I hope everyone comes out. And for more information, do go to www.strollingoftheheifers.com.
Yeah, I can.
All right, here we go.
Again, it's the Strolling of the Heifers, online, strollingoftheheifers.com. And joining us in this segment, along with Orly Muzing, Mother Heifer, of course, we have Ronnie Byrne to my immediate left. Ronnie is in charge of this year's parade. And Empresario Beth Kendall is handling all of the entertainment on Stroll Day. Now, I want to focus in on Ronnie first. Have you ever done a parade before?
Funny you should ask. First of all, may the farms be with you.
Oh my goodness, that is this year's theme, is it not?
Yes, sir. It is.
I'll have my cow saber at the ready.
Absolutely, and be prepared because we might see Princess Leia or Luke Skywalker or Han Solo or Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, I mean, the cows could, be the Wookiees because they're hairy too.
Exactly. But we actually do have a lot of the kids in town that are going to be in the parade are kind of excited about the fact that we are doing this theme, and obviously there's a Star Wars connection there. They want to dress up as their Star Wars characters, but there's a deeper kind of meaning to the "May the farms be with you," and it goes back to what Orly was saying earlier about being connected to your food and your community and understanding. When you go to Mega Mart and buy that head of lettuce from, God knows where, you're not feeling the same thing as you are when you're at a local source for your food. And, the farm, you feel that the farm is with you when you're buying locally. So that's what part of the impetus for our theme was this year.
Very nice. So the real
I practiced that.
stars of May the Farms Be With You are the heifers and, of course,
Absolutely.
the farmers.
The heifers and the farmers. And to go back to your original question, this is my second year doing the parade. Last year was a transition year. Rick had been doing it many years, and then I took over from him last year. As you recall, last year we were dancing to the Muzing.
That's right.
Yep. So this year we're May the Farms Be With You.
Well, I can't wait to see how this is going to play out. So what kind of response have you gotten from different farms, different farmers, different 4-H groups? And the like?
Well, it's been pretty crazy this year. I actually have to say that one of the challenges is kind of like keeping everything reined in, because this parade could become like a 4-hour parade if we allowed it to become. There's that much interest among people in the community who want to march with us, and our heifers are always right up at front. So far we've got about 70 confirmed, but between now and parade there'll probably be another 30 to 40 heifers in there. Or possibly more, yeah. So we've got that. This year we have 9 different marching bands, which is crazy. There's going to be music from one end of the parade to the other this year. We have circus, New England Center for Circus Arts. We have New England Youth Theater. We have floats, we have farmers, we have 7-foot-tall inflatable bulls, we have giant puppets. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait.
I want you to know, no Strolling of the Heifers parade would be complete without the Brattleboro Food Co-op synchronized marching shopping carts.
Oh yes, oh yes, and I actually spoke with John at the co-op, and he actually shared with me that that is a very popular activity within the co-op community, and that is another thing where there's more people who want to do it than there are actual spots. Cool. So it's quite a lot of fun for people.
I'm not surprised. There are things I do want to mention about this parade, that it takes a lot of work, a lot of training for young people to learn how to lead heifers up a busy street when there are thousands of people around.
Absolutely. And it's not really clear to the folks who are actually watching the parade up along Main Street, but I'm telling you, when you go down to where we're staging, it's quite a beehive of activity there, and were it not for all of the wonderful parade marshals who work with me, it would be something akin to trying to herd cats.
Well, I don't think we're going to do Strolling of the Cats this year.
No,
so I'm glad we're doing heifers. But one thing I do want to say on that vein is, if you have a dog, please leave your dog at home.
Yes, please.
The interaction sometimes between pets that may be nervous with a lot of people around and young heifers who have not been around a lot of people is not good when that happens.
That's correct.
And we all love dogs. I think each one of us has a dog here, but we're not bringing our dogs. And it's too hot, it's too congested, it's not fair to the dog as well.
It's totally not conducive to having an animal other than a heifer.
However, I want the rights for Strolling of the Cats.
You can have it.
Yours.
Okay.
So we can knit them little pink hats.
There you go.
And at this time, can I also put in a little plea here? I am actively recruiting for new parade marshals right now. A few of our folks from last year are retiring, and so I have a pretty good crew, but I could use at least 6 or 8 more people. So if anybody is interested, by all means, give us a shout. Go to StrollingOfTheHeifers.com and do a contact us, and let us know, because I would love to have you.
We also need volunteers for the general parade and festival. So, if you want to be able to sell T-shirts or help us on the grounds and help Beth in setting up, being an ambassador for Strolling of the Heifers, we need all the community to help us. Usually it takes us about 320 people to put this on, volunteers. So maybe sometimes more. It takes a community to put on a Strolling of the Heifers, and it's a lot of fun. So I hope that you will join us in this and to see what goes on behind the scenes.
Yes.
So the original myth about there being more cows than people is wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this event really does bring in tens of thousands of people into the Brattleboro area.
Absolutely. But just working on the Strolling of the Heifers, I have met the most amazing people that have become close friends that I wouldn't have known if it wasn't for the Strolling of the Heifers. So I highly recommend anyone out there. We're a very open group. If you want to even participate all year long in our monthly meeting and help us plan this, we would love to have you. It's a lot of fun, and we're kind of a zany group, and really enjoy getting together. So I invite everybody. Right? Would you say zany?
Zany.
It does sound like a fun time, and I know that it is, having experienced it year after year. Now, Beth, what kind of entertainment will we have for musical groups and the like?
Okay, for musical groups. Oh, and I do want to mention that Friday night, Alan Greenleaf will be there. And Alan Greenleaf, who will be downtown, as he has been every Friday night, is the composer and performer of not one but 2 Heifer songs now.
That's right.
He wrote a new one last year. So, yeah, come check him out and make him perform for you. He also, I believe, is in the parade.
He's the last person in the parade.
We actually have, it was interesting, I was listening to Ronnie, we have a few of these bands and performers are continuing from the parade right onto the stage. There's the gazebo will feature eclectic music, a mixture of music of mostly local bands, but one young man, Flyboy Maestro, will be in the parade, and then up on the stage, he's a kind of a hip hop original artist who people should, you hear him in the parade, follow him right up to the gazebo. Lisa McCormick and the Ukesters, the ukuleles have become signature around here, so they're going to be entertaining up there and doing some sing-alongs. Sonny Lowdown, who is wonderful. It's Lou Erlinger's band. He's well known around here, and he's really great. The Brattleboro Women's Chorus this year has a group that's going to a song fest, a festival of women singers out in the Midwest, and they're doing all songs that are written and or performed by Vermonters. So that's actually a nice local piece in there. Bad to Be Good, Dennis Waring's band, and Moondogs, who have performed before, will be on the gazebo. Down at the Common, down at the retreat, we have a few different entertainment possibilities. There, of course, are the goat races, which I'm not going to talk much about, but they happen every year, and they're wonderful little goats racing. You bet on them or pet them, depending on your propensity. There also, NECA will be there performing half-hour shows, performing every half hour for
New England Center
audience.
for Circus Arts.
Yes, New England Center for Circus Arts will be on the bars and on the ropes. The music tent this year is focused on mostly bluegrass and country traditional string band music. And one of the American farm traditions are family bands. And we do actually have a couple of groups that are family bands. The Speckers, who's John Specker and his 2 daughters, will be playing another group called, what do they call themselves? It's Dan Linder's group, Skyboy Blues. They will be here, and 2 of them are brothers. They're the heart of the band. Also, this year, thank you, Jay Bailey, Andy Davis, and Tony Barron are going to play, and their stuff all originates from traditional farm stories and music. Who else is going to be there? Pine Drop, which is a Vermont band that I don't think many people around here know, and Figment. Figment is one of Anna Patton's bands, and that's guitar, fiddle, and clarinet, and is really a knockout band. And then there's the kids' entertainment. And of course, in sticking with farms, we have Casper the Cow. Thank you, Jana Zeller from Sandglass. And a great magician, Jonas Kane, will be there. Becky Graber is also going to be down there telling farm stories and songs and having a nice participatory activity with the kids. Shoshana Bass is doing Fritzy's Flea Circus. And if you have never seen Fritzy's Flea Circus, you really have to stop in. It's a 20-minute show. We give her own tent next to the CNS, thank you CNS, Family Entertainment tent. And it's just, she's got this great little character who does high dives and gets blown out of a cannon. And it's this little thing that's what was the traditional flea circus. And then NEYT, New England Youth Theater, is putting on their commedia piece, Eulalia, which is a commedia rendition of The Miser, of Moliere's The Miser, and that'll be toward the end of the day. And so the one thing I want to say, Brattleboro School of Dance this year, they're bringing their junior group who are writing their own dances. They're doing like 4-minute pieces, and they're doing them a couple times. But I just want to say that for people who think that the day is too long for local folks, if you go to the parade and then you have to take your little one home for a nap or whatever, come back, because there really is entertainment nearly till the very end, and definitely worth seeing. So you can always eat and listen to music and take your kids for fun at 1 or 2 or whatever.
Sounds like a good time. Now,
It should be.
What are the hours of the festival?
Everything starts with the parade, of course, at 10. So when the parade ends, and even for some people before that, because for whatever reason they start on the entertainment grounds, and everything ends at 4. So all the entertainment, the vendors will all be there. There actually, someone else is going to talk about vendors at some point if they haven't already, but there are some breakfast foods in both locations, but also the actual formal entertainment on both areas, top and bottom, start at 11 o'clock. So there will be performers at 11. Actually, I think at 10:50 down at the retreat.
So what kind of vendors will there be as far as food and other groups that may be showing up?
Of course, Commonwealth will be there giving out samples, so everybody can have their new yogurt called Skier, which is incredible. I've been just buying that.
Bull.
No bull.
Oh, man.
And it's low sugar.
It's delicious.
It's incredibly low sugar.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Sugar, yep.
Really good. It's denser and thicker. Icelandic yogurt. And Utterly Smooth will be there giving out hand cream, as they have for the last 18 years. They're a wonderful partner from Ohio. They come all the way with their beautiful cow, and they're very generous. And also Sandry is going to be at the Energy Village. They're a lead sponsor there. Of course, CNS at the entertainment tent. Yeah. Now, I got to tell you, the food choices this year are out of this world. In fact, I'm going on a diet. Tim, start with me, because it's going to be, each time I talk to another food vendor, I think I gain 5 pounds just thinking about it.
But can I get a hamburger?
You can get a hamburger, you can get Thai, you can get Chinese, you can get Indian, you can get Turkish, you can get Middle Eastern, you can get, you name it, it's there. Maple, cotton candy, I could keep going.
Nitrogen ice cream.
Instant
ice cream.
Yes, instant ice cream, that's right.
Really?
There are several ice cream vendors. We love it.
Several ice cream. There's everything. So make sure that you try some of that. It's just incredible. We also have our Health Village, which is going to have a wonderful stage and lots of performers, and people can grab a bite and sit down and listen to various different health related topics. It's not going to be boring. It's going to be very interesting and entertaining. And And let's see, Beth, what else do we have here? We have a lot of specialty foods,
There are specialty foods, there's specialty items, there's a lot
a
of
lot of crafts.
clever,
And the foosball.
conservation. And there is human foosball. And human foosball has gotten more popular every year. We actually like people to sign up in teams ahead of time, but nobody does. Nobody
We're
has in the
good.
past, which is fine. If you're interested, again, StrollingoftheHeifers.com,
Yes.
Heifers. But seriously, you can just join in. You can bring friends with you and join in, or you can just join a group and play human foosball, which is a treat.
And will there be shuttle buses running to the events?
Gosh, there are so many shuttle buses. In fact, this year, we have acquired the old Home Depot
Parking lot.
on Putney Road, so it'd be much easier for people, as well as in West Brattleboro, the high school and other areas. So
You mean the parking lot? You haven't
Yes.
bought the building yet.
No. But the
Let's not start a rumor.
the nice people from Home Depot, as well as the people who own the plaza there, are allowing us to park there, and we'll have lots of signs. And if you want to see where to park and so forth, and the buses are free, and they run every 15 minutes, and it's on our website, StrollingoftheHeifers.com, and you can go there and find out all about where to park, what time, that comes. But the buses run every 15 minutes, so there's no problem with parking. Just park your car and hop on a bus, and it will take you right downtown. You don't have to deal with the traffic or look for a parking spot.
We'll tell you what we'll do. Not only will we park and get on the bus, we'll talk in a bit about what's going on Sunday, because
Yes.
Saturday is not the end of the weekend. There's still a day of festivities you can get involved in. Plenty of fun. Again, StrollingoftheHeifers.com. More coming up with Strolling of the Heifers on Brattleboro Community TV. And thank you for watching our Strolling of the Heifers extravaganza. We're back. And of course, if you thought that Saturday's parade and events were the end all, well, you're not really wrong, but there is another day of activity in the Brattleboro area. In fact, this time around we have with us to my immediate left, Judy Fink, Erica Elder, and of course, Mother Heifer, Orly Muzing. Now, I understand that any day starts with breakfast. I mean, I eat at least 3 every day. So what do you have planned for this year's Strolling of the Heifers weekend?
So if you're not athletically inclined and just want a really good farmer's breakfast, by the way, it supports our farm to table apprenticeship program, you should go to the marina and enjoy various local foods from places like Grafton Village Cheese, Cabot Cheese, Pete and Jerry's Eggs. I'm trying to think of other, Against the Grain has pizzas, breakfast pizzas that they have created, all kinds of various foods. And what an incredible place to be, but on the river enjoying the wonderful festive weekend.
You know, that's one of the themes we've talked about over the years, Orly. When you are helping out a farmer, you can't help but remember the surroundings are just incredible. And as part of Strolling of the Heifers weekend, please take in the surroundings.
That's right, exactly. Also, the marina has put on this breakfast for us for quite a few years. And all the proceeds they give to the Farm to Table Apprenticeship Program. And we actually have participants and students in the program that end up working at the marina, which is really exciting.
It really is. And when does that start in the morning?
It starts, I believe, at 8 o'clock and I think goes on to about 2.
Well, for a farmer, that 8 o'clock in the morning is the middle of the day. But as part of the day after the stroll, there are a number of other events. For instance, I understand, Judy, if you want to see some of the farms in the area up close, there's a chance to do that.
Right. So on Sunday, this is the 5th year of scheduled farm tours, though I know that Orly had organized a variety of self-guided tours for many years
But
before
they weren't
that.
as good as when, in 5 years, you've taken over.
Well, thank you. So people will have an opportunity to visit actually 4 farms. There are 5 farms on the tour, but only 4 time slots. And the 5 farms are real treasures in our area. Each farm celebrates a different aspect of what makes Vermont such a special agricultural niche. The Bunker Farm is the further north farm on the list, and that's in Dummerston, and that's a farm that's owned by two lovely farming couples. It's a conserved farm. They raise a variety of animals for food, and they have flowers that they raise and they sell. And they also have a very widespread maple sugar operation. They will obviously not be boiling maple syrup at that time, but they'll have maple sugar and maple syrup for sale. The Scott Farm is a very old farm, but it dates back to George Washington days, which I find really wonderful. It is an orchard that has developed at this point about 125 varieties of heirloom apples. Zeke Goodband is the farmer there, and he does an amazing tour. Everyone on this farm tour day does an incredible tour, but Zeke is also a humorist. He's a very funny guy, but he will take people into the orchards and explain all about the life cycle of apples, and it's what's very special about this is that people get to go behind the fence. It's really the only time that the public is allowed into the orchards, and they have a lovely farm shop that will be open later for people to sample some products. So those are two of the three Dummerston farms. It so happens that we have a third farm from Dummerston this year as well, and that's Full Plate Farm. And Full Plate Farm is our newest farm on the route, and Matt and Laura are the farmers there. It's a fairly new farm, also a conserved farm. A vegetable farm. They primarily raise vegetables for members, CSAs, community supported agriculture.
Right.
And I think we talked about that a little bit last year.
And that's a great concept. You buy in at the start of the season, you help the farmer with their upfront costs, and you get food back every week during growing season.
That's right. And actually, they are one of the three farms that have CSAs. Excuse me. Bunker Farm has a meat CSA, and Scott Farm has a fruit CSA that happens in the fall. So Matt and Laura both have done a lot of farm education. So I am really looking forward to learning about how they farm. They have 2 acres that they're farming. They have some niche crops like ginger, which I know several farms are in the area now introducing to the public as well. The fourth farm is our treasure of the Robb family farm, which is multiple generations of farming.
125 years now.
It's remarkable. And Helen and Charlie and their children are farming that farm. They used to be a dairy farm operation. Now they raise cattle for meat, and then they also have a major sugaring operation, so they will be selling their product as well. And for the last several years, we've been treated to a hayride up to the pastures to see the cows. So if the weather holds out, that'll be part of the deal, which would be great. And the fourth farm is the Miller Farm in Vernon, your hometown.
Oh yes.
And they are also a multi-generational farm, and they're a dairy farm operation, organic milk that they raise to sell to Stonyfield Farm. And last year was their first year on the tour, and also provided a hayride up to the pastures where we got to meet the cows, and then we were taken into the milking parlor, which was really interesting. And these farms are quite small, all 5 of them. They are beautiful to visit. The farmers are passionate about what they do and are very, very excited to share the work that they do with the public. And it's also an opportunity for people to interact with the farmers, learn more about what they do, and bring a picnic lunch if they'd like.
One thing, having spent time on farms over the years myself, certainly some dress code etiquette would be in order for anybody looking to visit a farm.
Yes, thank you. So the tours are an hour in length, and there's quite a bit of walking that happens. So I recommend, depending upon the weather, I would recommend long pants, walking shoes or boots. There could be a little mucky.
You mean I can't wear my flip-flops?
I would not wear
Okay.
flip-flops or high heels. I'd definitely leave your high heels home.
Okay.
Sunscreen, hats, water. All the farms are very clean and very proud of how clean they are, but it's always a good idea to have hand sanitizer or wash your hands afterwards. No one's going to be touching any animals as part of this.
You know, it's interesting. You take these precautions not only for your protection as a member of the public, but farmers don't want anything brought in
Absolutely.
to their farming operations as well, because to sell their product, they've got to keep it clean.
That's right. That's right. So in order to participate in these farm tours, they are free. But we are asking people to register in advance if they can on the website. And that's just so that we have a sense of how many people will be showing up. And they're hour-long tours. There's a time between each tour that will give people an opportunity to go from one farm to the next. So they can go to 4, they could go to 3, they could go to 2, they could go to 1. If they show up, they won't, on day of, without registering, they will not be turned away, but it makes it much easier for the farmers if they do register in advance.
Great idea.
And most people sign up beforehand.
Right.
And it gives us, the farmer, also a chance to see who's coming, so they can kind of gauge the tour towards the audience that's coming.
We talked about the beauty of the farmscape and the surrounding countryside. And the other event happening on Sunday is a chance to enjoy that. Erica, you are involved with putting together the Tour de Heifer. What exactly is that?
Well, the Tour de Heifer is a 60 or 30 or 15 mile bike ride, depending on your skill level and your stamina level. And it happens mostly on the gravel roads, starting and ending at Lilac Ridge Farm in West Brattleboro. And you could choose to go 15 miles, which is just to the beautiful Green River Bridge and back. There's a water stop there at the Green River Bridge, and it's very scenic, and there's a reservoir there you can dip your feet in. I have seen people swimming in that. The 30 mile is that plus a little bit more, and this year the 60 mile route is new for riders who have lots and lots of people do it year after year. I think this is the 7th or 8th year, Orly, am I right?
It's more than that.
More than that, yeah, maybe
10
9.
years, I think.
10.
Lots of cycling.
Lots of cycling, and lots of people do it every year because it's such a friendly ride. We welcome everyone. Children always, there are always some children that do it, and it's just really friendly for every level of rider. It's not one of those
So where
Ironman competitions.
Where and when does it take place?
Oh, it starts, well, the rides are different lengths, so they're staggered throughout the morning. 60-mile riders usually show up at about 7 at Lilac Ridge, and you can come later depending on the route you've chosen. But there's lunch at Lilac Ridge and live music. There's pizza by Regani Pizza, the wonderful wood-fired oven.
And that's included.
In your registration, yes.
And there's also a continental breakfast with that.
Oh my.
With yogurt
And pastries and hard-boiled eggs and all kinds of different things.
And so you should sign up for that in advance on the website.
Absolutely.
StrollingOfTheHeifers.com.
Yes. Or you can go to Bike Reg and look for Tour de Heifer and sign up there.
So lots of people are involved in that every year?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yep. Again, we have vendors, a few vendors at the farm. The farm is always super supportive with letting us set up our things. Alan Greenleaf will be making his final appearance of the weekend, playing live music, which is so, so relaxing after you get off of a long, sweaty bike ride to just come and lie in the field and eat your pizza. You could get a beer from Whetstone Station. They're going to bring their new mobile beer garden. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, pizza and drinks and other.
And I just want to say that the Lilac Ridge Farm has welcomed us year after year after year, and I can't thank them enough for allowing us to come to the farm. And really, they're amazing hosts. They're an incredible family. And we thank them for allowing us to bring people back to the farm. That's the whole idea of this, to visit farms. We have wonderful stops, and the stops, from what I'm told by professional bikers, it is the best, in their words, the best bike tour that they have attended because they get so much support along the way. The stops all have wonderful snacks and sandwiches and water and all kinds of different things. There's bike mechanics. We have rescue following people if they need any help. We have security following. I mean, there's a lot of people and a lot of volunteers who even ride along the way if somebody needs help. So it's a lot of fun. But the best part for me is just to sit at the Lilac Ridge Farm. It's like, I feel like I'm in a movie. You know, the heifers are on the hillside, and it's all green, and you just want to stop doing what you're doing and start farming. And when I say that to Bev and Stewart, the matron of of the farm, they say, okay, then you come here tomorrow and start milking and tell me if you still want to do this.
Yeah, start with 4, okay?
And if you don't ride,
That's
there's also a
right.
hike that is up the beautiful mountain that's part of Lilac Ridge, and it's only about 3 miles.
Round Mountain.
Round Mountain, yep, and you can register in advance to do that, and that will also include lunch. Or here's my pro tip: you could just come and buy lunch.
That's right.
And have a beautiful view and watch all the people who have done lots of work riding
And great
their bikes.
music.
And have a great end to the stroll weekend.
There's a lot
It's
of
just-
people who just come and have lunch.
It's a beautiful situation.
And just love sitting there and watching all these incredible, fit people who, some of them, the 60-milers, I think they come from another planet.
And they just come and wander off and you're like, oh, that was fun. And it really is, it is a fun ride. That's what everybody says. They say it's really well organized and they just always have fun. So
Really sounds like you have gone over the top again in putting things together for the weekend.
Well, again, this whole parade and festival, it's our fundraiser for all the good work that we do year-round. And we invite everybody to come to the River Garden and learn more about what we do year-round.
In fact, the River Garden has events almost daily during the week, do they not?
Daily. We still have the brown bag lunch. This is now we're going on almost on our 6th year. And it's full every single day. You have to sign up 6 weeks in advance usually to get a spot. And it just keeps going and going, and it's generated by the community. It's wonderful. And also in the River Garden, for those listeners, it's a job training site, and we work with Voc Rehab and Department of Labor and help people on a daily basis develop good beginning job skills, computer skills, marketing, personnel, and we've had tremendous successes with people who are there, and they end up getting very nice jobs from that experience. So, we're constantly working with the community, and if anybody's out there who has any idea and would like to talk to us about any idea that we should think about, we would love to hear from you.
What's the best way, 52 weeks a year, not just 1 week a year, to support your local farmers and farms?
Buy from them. Absolutely buy from them. And also, what I've heard from farmers at the Strolling of the Heifers, when they make that turn on Flat Street and they see all those people who are there just for them, it's very touching for them, because as you well know, farming is very hard work and sometimes it's lonely. And they have to be out there in the rain and the sun, when it's not so nice, when it's cold, when it's very hot, and just supporting them in that way would be great.
So for the entire weekend, if you want to study up, know where to go in advance, how do people do that?
You go to strollingoftheheifers.com and all the information is there. Or you can stop by the River Garden. We'd be happy to talk to you about that. Or call us. You can actually call 258-7070 and I'd be happy to talk to you.
I bet there's a moo somewhere in that phone number.
There is. You'll hear a moo when you call.
And Orly, will there be an insert in the Reformer again this year?
Absolutely. The program will be inserted in the Reformer and the Commons.
Great.
And by the way, the Reformer, is one of our lead sponsors and the Commons, and I invite everyone to go to our sponsor page and see how many sponsors help us with the Strolling of the Heifers. And it's not just for the parade and festival, it's for all the work that we do year round.
Just another example of how it takes a village.
Absolutely. We live in the most amazing community.
All of you ought to be congratulated. Orly Muzing, Erica Elder, Judy Fink, and of course earlier Ronnie Byrne, Beth Kendall, Phyllis Trier, and Ann Latches. What a lineup. I can't wait for Strolling of the Heifers weekend.
And thank you, Tim, for being, this is going to be your 18th year of being one of the MCs.
The Heifers will now be able to vote this year.
It's about time.
So, Strolling of the Heifers weekend, the first weekend in June. Be there or support them any way you can. This is Tim Johnson. We're moving on to Strolling of the Heifers weekend. Talk to you soon.